Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network.
Off a screen, Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win! Yeah! We're going to the NCAA tournament!
And it's a cold strike 3 over the inside corner, and Bakersfield has done it. They win the WAC championship.
And over to Sidney Haynes off the block, and the Roadrunners win
Live
it.
from downtown Bakersfield, California, here's the voice of the Runners, Corey Costello.
Welcome in once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. This is our 32nd and final edition of season number 4 of the program. So we are going to be calling it for the summer, but hope to be back in the coming months for the next season, which will be 5 of Roadrunner Rundown. But we appreciate you joining us as we sort of recap some of the great moments and get really ready to preview some things happening over the summer. We've got summer camps coming up. We've got Spirit Squad tryouts as we prepare for next year. We're going to be speaking with Arthur Smith. He's our Spirit Squad coordinator. We're going to be talking about Winter Guard and Spirit Squad tryouts coming up for those of you interested in joining that. Also, we've got Brandon Barnes coming up in the final segment of the program. He's our director of operations for men's basketball. Men's basketball camps start in June. They've got June and July sessions. June session is almost sold out, so he's going to tell you all about the camps. And if you want to get your sons involved in the camps this summer, it's a great way to not only learn basketball but also hang out with CESUB student athletes, coaches, and learn from some of the best. So we'll be talking to him as well. And also joining us in the next segment, Mark Mays, our assistant athletic director for special events. He also oversees part of CSUB baseball. Runners coming up with a pretty good season. They're locked in as a number 2 seed in the upcoming WAC tournament. They set an average per game attendance record this year as well. And you know, some good things happening at Hart Field. And we'll talk a little bit about the spring barbecue, which happened last week. Thank you all who attended. That was a very big and well-attended event. So we'll talk with him about that, how that all went out there at on campus. So all that coming up on the final edition of season number 4 of Roadrunner Rundown. But we got some highlights to get to as we, season's almost over, but CSUB baseball still in action. They were hosting Seattle U this past weekend. Friday night, Max Carter making his final home start of his career. Early on, getting a little defensive help as Ryan Grosjean runs this one down in foul territory, gets a gutful of railing in the process, but he makes the catch, and we are scoreless for the first 3 innings. Bottom 4, Sergio Robles at the plate, 2 on, and he finds some real estate in the right field corner. 2 runs would score on this RBI triple, and it is 2-0 CSUB as the Runners take the early lead as Grosjean comes in to score for the Runners as well as Max Carter. Seattle, though, bringing out the boomsticks on this night as top of 5, 1 on for Chase Wells. And Wells goes deep down the right field corner. No doubt about this one. And just like that, we are tied at 2 as Seattle bringing the power. Then bottom of the 5th, Louis Martinez gets CSUB going with a single to left center. And then later in the inning, it's Mark Pena bunting back to the pitcher. The catcher comes up with it, tries to throw to second. Whoops, slips and falls. And the Runners have 2 on and 1 out. David Metzger then easily picking up the ground ball. Goes off the pitcher's glove, allows him to be out at first, but a run does score. It's 3-2 CSUB. Bottom of the 6th, Griffin Andreychuk going deep to center field, and he ties the game at 3 with another Seattle long ball. I can count as many times as I've seen a ball leave center field at Hart Field. That is one of a very rarity here at this ballpark. Top of 8, 2 on for Seattle. Here's a shot down the left field line. It gets to the corner, and 2 runs would score for Seattle U. So the Redhawks taking the lead late in the ball game. Runners haven't really been in that situation too much at home, but 2 score, and so CSUB trails after 7.5, 5-3 to Seattle. Have no fear, time to ramp up the pressure. Bottom of the 8th, runners on first and second. Malik Jones lays down a bunt. Pitcher Jansen Junk thinks he has a play at third, but think again, the throw goes into foul territory. That allows 2 runs to score. Jones going to get all the way to third on that error, so CSUB ties it at 5 apiece after the Jones bunt and error. Next batter, Ryan Grosjean, infield in, chopper to first base. It's going to go off the first baseman, Sean Sutton's glove, over the second baseman's head. Another run scores, and CSUB leads 6-5 as Grosjean gets all the way to second base. Now Grosjean, next batter, he's at third, and it's Robles again, this time with his own chopper to the right side over the head of the second baseman. Grosjean would score, and CSUB leads 7-5 after 8 complete. Robles having a heck of a night. Top of 9, Nathan Dewsnap on for the save. He gets the first 2 striking out. Then Max Modeste comes in as a pinch hitter. He has 6 hits on the season. 4 are home runs at this point. So he sees one from Dewsnap, and then for Modeste, that's basically all he would need to see, as Modeste, the reason why he comes in as a pinch hitter in this situation, he saw the pitch he wanted, and towering shot to right field. No doubt the base is empty, though. It's a solo home run, Seattle's 3rd of the game, and the CESUB lead is cut to 7-6. Next batter, Dewsnap not messing around this time. He gets him swinging. CESUB wins on Friday night, 7-6. Dewsnap picks up his 12th save of the season. Saturday, Aaron Charles getting bumped up a start by a day. First inning, though, he puts 2 on, and Seattle takes a 1-0 lead with this RBI single, and they take their first early lead of the series. Then bottom of the second, runner on, wild pitch, sending the tying run to second base for CESUB, so the Roadrunner's in business. Then Jones getting the third. Sergio Robles, he's going to double down the right field line, and we are going to tie this one at 1 apiece. Of course, as Robles gets to second base on the double, the obligatory gesture to the dugout. Thank you very much. Robles having a very good series. Still tied at 1 in the 6th, 2 on for, guess what, Sergio Robles. And 2 strikes. He lays down the bunt. Seattle again tries to go to third. Jones is safe, though. He beats the throw. Bases are loaded for the Roadrunners. Next batter up for CESUB, Jake Ortega, a sac fly to center field. 1 run would score, and CESUB takes the 2-1 lead off the sacrifice fly RBI. Crazy play coming up next. Junior Felix with a tapper towards the pitcher. Connor Moore appears to tag out Max Carter, but the ball falls down on the baseline, so it's like the NFL. No catch. Carter comes up to score. They would get Robles out at third base on the play. And another look at this one, as you see Moore drop the ball on the ground as he falls, as heads up by Carter coming in to score. And if you look at it from another angle, it appears that Moore never even actually tags Carter. Look at the glove. Never touches him. It's actually in front of the elbow, so Carter was never tagged, and the ball falls out, so runners end up getting the to score there. Next batter up, Pena, a chopper to second base. He beats the throw. Felix heads to third, and CESUB is threatening again, and then Mark Pena on this pitch going to steal second, one of 7 stolen bases, a CESUB single-game record in this ball game, and the runners are really in business because Andrew Penner is going to get it done with 2 outs, a single into center field, 2-run score, and CESUB now leads 5-1 after 6 innings. Top of the 9th, same score for the Roadrunners as Isaiah Moten on the mound. He hits the leadoff batter, so CESUB goes to the bullpen to get Dewsnap with 1 out, as Wells doubling to right center in the gap, and a run scores to make it 5-2 CESUB. And then Dewsnap, as the Redhawks come around to score, and they make it a 3-run ball game. Then Dewsnap going to be facing, guess who, Max Modeste from the night before. He took him deep on Friday. This time, Dewsnap evening the showdown with the strikeout, 2 away. But Seattle, though, 1 more in him. An RBI single with 2 outs going to make it 5-3 as the Redhawks come in to score once again. But Dewsnap for the runners, although not a save situation, not panicking. He gets another strikeout. CESUB wins on Saturday 5-3 and claims the WAC series, their 5th straight series win in conference play. So here's how the series went down. The runners got the 7-6 victory on Friday night. Nathan Dewsnap got his 12th save. That win put CESUB into the conference tournament at least. Then on Saturday, the Roadrunners holding on for the 5-3 win. Aaron Charles got the win. He went 6 2/3 for CESUB, his 4th win of the season. He pitched strong. The win also at that point clinched no worse than a 2 seed for CESUB at the WAC tournament. Then on Sunday, the runners let the sweep sort of slip away. Seattle gets a 9-6 victory. Runners gave up 6 runs in the 2nd inning. They battled back a couple times, but couldn't quite get close enough, so they'll fall in the series finale. So the runners are locked in as a 2 seed. Here's what's happening. The runners will have 1 regular season conference series coming up this week at New Mexico State. What's on the line? The runners, as I mentioned, already the number 2 seed. New Mexico State, because of Grand Canyon being ineligible still for the conference tournament, they are locked in as a 1 seed. But the Aggies still technically have a shot to be a co-champion in the WAC. So they want these games, and I'm sure the runners' motivation is they don't want to let them get them. So Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, they will play. Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and Saturday at noon Mountain Time. And then the runners already locked into their WAC tournament spot. They will start the WAC tournament coming up on the Thursday, May the 25th at 3 p.m. as they go to an opponent TBA. Here's the standings in the Western Athletic Conference. Grand Canyon at 20-4 atop the league. New Mexico State at 17-4. So they're the 1 seed. CSUB the 2 seed. And then look at all that. Everybody else within 2 games of each other. Needless to say, it's going to be a wild weekend. Sacramento State is taking on Chicago State. You got Utah Valley playing Seattle U, and you got UTRGV. Actually, check that. Sac State's playing UTRGV. Northern Colorado's playing Chicago State. UTRGV's playing Seattle. They're all playing each other, so you could essentially go from in to out this weekend. Right now, it's really a lot still to be determined, although CSUB and New Mexico State have it all locked up where they need to be. On to CSUB softball. Speaking of WAC tournaments, they had theirs last week in New Mexico, and check this one out. First game, they're trailing by 4 in the top of the 7th, taking on UMKC, and they were down by 6. They got 2 back in the 6th. Then they get rally going in the 7th. Nicole Curry doubles to right center, and CSUB has a little bit of life. Good start to the rally there. CSUB will bring in a pinch runner as well for Bakersfield as Josie Flores comes in to pinch run at second base. 2 batters later, 1 out. Kara Wiseman singles up the middle, and then the runners have them on the corners with 1 out, still trailing by 4, top of the 7th, their last at-bats, but they got them on the corners. Next batter for the Roadrunners, this one is going to be a line out to left field, so nobody advances. Everybody's still on the corners right now, and there are 2 outs in the ball game. Next hitter, Kaylin Burt. 3-run shot to left field, and just like that, there's 2 outs, but it's a 1-run ball game, and still 2 outs for the Roadrunners as Burt hits her second home run of the season, and it's a big one as CSB pulls within 1. Next hitter, Selena Gonzalez, 2 outs again in the inning, and how risky is this for the Roadrunners as Gonzalez will come in, lay down the bunt. She's going to beat it out for a hit, and the tying run is aboard for the Roadrunners. They are jacked. And the next batter, Joe Larios, on a 3-1 count, takes a high pitch. So now the go-ahead run is aboard with 2 away, and CSCB still trailing by 1. UMKC, well, they're going to go ahead and change pitchers, but it's not going to help because Chris Hepa is going to find a gap into right field. The RBI double. We are tied at 10 in the top of the 7th as CSUB finds a way to tie the game. Runners on second and third now for CSUB. Julia Cavazos at the plate for the Runners as Bakersfield somehow, some way finds a way to tie this ball game. Now Cavazos at the plate, and what do you know? It's going to be wild pitch time in the dirt. Coming in to score is Larios, and somehow CSUB has scored 5. They take an 11-10 lead in the 7th. Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs here for UMKC. Their final chance, Lindsay Klemenko on the mound for Bakersfield. She gets the ground ball to third base, and the Runners, a huge comeback. They win it 11-10 in the first game of the WAC tournament in big comeback fashion. But for the Roadrunners, that's pretty much where the magic ended this year in the conference tournament. Didn't quite have the run in them that they did last year. So CSUB wins 11-10 in the first game. They get 7 runs in the final 2 innings. Later that day, they would fall in the winner's bracket to New Mexico State, 7-2. That was a 2-2 ball game into the 6th, and New Mexico State scored 5 in that inning. So Bakersfield falls to the loser's bracket there. And then on Saturday, a wild ending to this. They played UMKC again, 20-10, our final in that ball game. CSUB season comes to an end with a 12-32 record. That is absolutely crazy with that score. A lot of big scoring games at New Mexico State. By the way, New Mexico State won the WAC championship. On to CSUB track and field. They had their WAC championships this past weekend. And here's the medal count. Well done by the Runners. Their highest medal total since joining the WAC. Also their highest team finish on the men's side since joining the WAC as well. Tim Van Horn, who we had in here a couple weeks ago, wins gold, part of the Boom Squad. He wins gold in the high jump. And congratulations to him. Justin McKinley wins the bronze in the high jump. He was here as well. Joselito Flores, who was also expected to be on the podium, got hurt in the long jump, so he was not able to get his height going in the high jump, but he will be participating in NCAA regionals along with Tim Van Horn. But 2 high jump medals for the Runners. Then Justin McKinley also picking up a silver in the long jump with a personal best as well. Nick Zandez recording the silver medal in the decathlon for CSU. CSUB. Curtis Threlkeld got the silver in the 800 meters for the runners, and Julianne Finch, the freshman, got a silver in the pole vault for CSUB track and field. So a heck of a showing for track and field. Congratulations to them. And that season comes to an end, although we believe Tim Van Horn, Joselita Flores should be competing in the NCAA Regionals coming up in Texas in a couple weeks. And CSUB softball season is complete. So the only really team sport left is baseball. And they'll continue again this week at New Mexico State. Next week at the Western Athletic Conference Tournament in Mesa, Arizona as the number 2 seed. They play on Thursday, May 25th against the highest seed remaining from the first 2 games. And we don't even know who's in those games yet because, like we said, after Bakersfield in the standings, it's the Wild West, and it'll all be determined this weekend in the final weeks of conference play. Those games start on Thursday. All right, we're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, speaking of baseball, we'll chat with Mark Mays about some of the great attendance numbers this year at CSUB baseball. Also, sort of preview the WAC tournament as well in the final weekend of competition. And also on the show later, Arthur Smith, our Spirit Squad coordinator, joins us to talk about some tryouts coming up for Spirit Squad and Winter Guard. And Brandon Barnes on the program talking about CSUB basketball camps, which will start in June. They're getting pretty close to sold out, so pay attention and get signed up for those. June and July, they'll have camps at the Ag Cardo Center. We're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, more with Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.
What shall I do to put myself by your side? What shall I do to put myself along by your side?
We're Kern County, and we have a lot in which to be proud. We connect California, power the nation, and confidently charge towards our short and long-term goals. We work hard to make our county a great place to live, learn, and dream. And anyone who calls Kern County home can help make our community stronger, schools better, and futures brighter. Together, let's turn more local dreams into realities so we can make life as it should be. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
We strive to achieve excellence through determination and hard work.
We are committed to learning from those around us,
Our professors and peers.
Our coaches and teammates,
and our opponents.
We compete with integrity and passion.
And we seize our moment when the opportunity arises.
We take pride in our communities.
And believe that we can inspire others
just as they can inspire us.
We may wear different colors, but we share the same purpose.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are
the Western Athletic Conference.
Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win!
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
What a moment!
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. So to come on the program, Arthur Smith joins us, our Spirit Squad coordinator, and also Brandon Barnes going to join us to talk about basketball camps coming up this summer at CSUB. All kinds of camps, by the way, presented by McDonald's. Just go to GoRunners.com, click on the camps link. All kinds of sports camps this summer at CSUB. So come on out and have your kids enjoy those. Joined now in studio by our assistant AD for communications. That's me. Mark Mace is assistant AD for special events. He joins us on the show. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Good. Great to be here.
Appreciate you coming on the program. Now, of your many hats and things you do, part of it is sort of overseeing the baseball facility and the program a little bit as well, and just coming off the final home game, which is home game number 28 of the year this past Sunday, and we're going to have some details coming out a little bit later on our website. But this year, an average attendance, an all-time average attendance, attendance per game record for the Roadrunners. That's pretty huge.
Yes, it was 664, which is very impressive. In the past, we've had some marquee weekends and events, such as in 2009, we had the defending national championship, Fresno State Bulldogs in town, which brought crowds of north of 1,000 people. 2011, we debuted the chairback seats with Fullerton, Nebraska, USC. 2013, we had the lights with Ohio State, which had huge crowds. So this is very consistent, and the community really stepped up and came out on a really per game basis was really consistent. In the past, you've seen big crowds, and then the next crowd was 200 people. So we were really pleased with the consistency of that.
It even seemed like Friday and Saturday nights were very well attended this year, and even the Sunday crowds were. I think it also helped we had such great weather. We didn't have like a really hot, miserable Sunday afternoon game this year, which was great because May was so crazy weather-wise.
Right. It was the opening weekend probably with Utah that was the worst weather. That we had the rain out and then adjusted well. But after that, it was pretty consistent.
And if you look at the opponents, as you point out, there really wasn't. We had Nebraska come in for one, and that was a win. That was nice. But really, if you, like you said, you go back and you look at last season, Oklahoma was here for 3 games. That was a huge draw. And then prior to that, you had, again, those years in like 2013 where the first 3 games, Nebraska, USC, Fullerton, those had huge crowds. There really wasn't a marquee opponent. I mean, BYU was well attended, and, it seems like every nice opponent we had, we beat them. That was good. But it was really just more of a consistent, especially with 3 fewer events than in years past, too, to have a higher average was pretty good, and it kind of shows the way the team kind of had a resurgence this year.
Yeah, the style of the team is kind of small ball. They do the little things to execute, hit and run, execute pickoff plays, things like that. I think Kern County baseball enthusiasts appreciate. You don't have the big 3-run homer that we'll have, that some teams have that came into Hartfield. And then also you have the local flavor of the weekend starters were all Bakersfield products with Charles Hansen and Max Carter. So I think that had some allure to some people to come out and see these people that they had saw in high school and follow them into college.
And then you had you kind of brought up the style of it, and they actually we'd kind of been saying it, and then it actually was picked up by the media over the weekend. But it really is kind of, some people call it small ball. We call it death by paper cut because that's basically what we're doing to you. It's just one little slice here and there, and we're going to steal a base, and we're going to put a double steal, and we might do a hit and run, and we might, like we saw on Saturday, bunt with 2 strikes to make you make a play, and you don't, and then we score. I mean, it's just kind of it really is an unpredictable style. It's kind of fun to watch because, and a lot of it is predicated on what the pitcher does. Jeremy Beard has said, we'll watch the pitcher. If he's, even on Saturday, we saw it where the pitcher is kind of lobbing the ball over to first. He's got his head down the entire time. So guess what? The first one he puts his head down, the runner takes off. He throws the first. Nobody's there. It just seems like it's a fun style to watch because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, and I think it will play well into next week when we go to Mesa, Arizona, with the dimensions of that ballpark. 410 feet to center field, 350 down the line and 340 down the other line. And I think the style of our play will suit well with that ballpark.
You brought up the way the team plays, and then also they did have a rough start to conference play. Started out 1-5, but then won 12 out of the last 15 to put them in the 2 seed. And really, you look at everything else happening after CSUB in the standings, it's a mess. Everybody's playing for their life basically this weekend, and the Roadrunners are going to go to New Mexico State. They obviously don't want the Aggies to win a piece of a championship, so they're going to be motivated by that. But with a week to go, they've kind of have some downtime, I guess you could say. Exactly. When everyone else is fighting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with that. It's a unique situation. I think last year we were fighting for our tournament lives to get there. To get there. And this year is a little bit where you can kind of manage your roster a little bit better, get a couple innings in from each of the pitchers, and get everybody ready to go.
With 3 games left in conference play, everybody third on down is 2 games apart from each other.
Yep.
I mean, there's 2 9-12 teams, and the rest are 7-14.
Right.
So. And everybody plays each other. That's the funny part, too. CSUB is playing New Mexico State at the top, basically meaningless series, and then after that, everybody's playing. So the field is still, I kind of wonder how much gas some of these teams are going to have coming into the conference tournament because they are playing for their lives, and then they'll play on Wednesday, and again, another extra day, and that bye is huge historically.
Yeah, and I've already looked at the long-range forecast. We're looking at 101 to 103 temperatures during the day. So if you get that bye like we did, that it's another day that you don't have to be out in that heat, and it wears you down on the course of a tournament. So.
I'd say normally like the heat doesn't bother us, but we haven't played in much heat this year because we play played in Arizona once or twice, but we haven't really played in heat because we haven't got the heat here.
Exactly.
We've had chilly games in the month of May, which is weird. But I think everything will be. I think it'll work out well for us, especially with that first round bye. And then I want to talk about the facility this year. I mean, we did finally get the press box put in at Hart Field, so that kind of changed it. It actually shaded a few more seats in the late evening games and the afternoon games as well, and another continued improvement to that facility.
Yeah, there's some subtle changes too with the backstop.
The padding.
With your, you can see from the view from center field the impact that makes with the big logo. You have recruits, out-of-town people watching those, and it makes an impact when you see something like that. And I'm sure they've noticed it because it's an unrecognizable facility from last year to this year.
Yeah.
How much better it looks with all the improvements. There was some fencing put in between or in front of each dugout as well, and a lot of credit goes to Matt Singer on that, our facilities man that put all that together through the season.
Yeah, little things that help with the facility. And I know in the long run, master plan, there's things that are, eventually hitting tunnels and more permanent locker room facilities, more permanent fan facilities. But a little bit at a time, I think it's kind of chipped away at it, and that's been great. So again, a good season at home for baseball, and we did the math because that's what we like to do in our office. I think the last baseball game concluded the 121st home event this season. So 121 total between all the teams this year. That's a pretty impressive run.
Right, and to give the people an idea, the last 2 weeks, starting with the Rowdies, I think we executed 8 home baseball games.
Yeah.
The Rowdies, a senior student athlete luncheon, Brains of Bakersfield fundraiser for men's soccer, and the spring barbecue.
Right. So basically what Mark's saying is he hasn't slept in 2 weeks. So he's looking forward to going to Arizona and taking some sleep. Let's talk about the spring barbecue because I saw it. It seemed like it was a unreal crowd that came through on last Thursday night.
Yeah, we're extremely pleased with the numbers. It looks to be up 400 to 500 people from last year. The number, revenue-wise, we're up 15,000 from last year. And, of course, the weather cooperated for the first time in a few years. And it was a very pleasant evening. The community came out. We'd like to support, thank them for that support. Had some great volunteer help, as always, from the Jamaras, the Accardos, the West Rotary, the 60-plus Club that all contributed to make it a special evening. And then also with the final exam challenge that we had with final exam starting the next day after the barbecue. Kudos to our student athletes and the coaches for stepping up on that and getting that volunteer help done.
Yeah, almost 2,600 meals served and $15,000 raised more than last year. Right. So that was a big number. And then I know the sponsorship stuff was up too, so that was pretty cool. And I asked Mark on Friday because you can tell a bad year at the barbecue because Mark's trying to sell like cooked food the next day to people. And I said, hey, you got any steak stuff? He said 3.
Yeah, yep. So it was just a great crowd, steady throughout the night. It opens at 5:30, and we were serving out steaks till 9 o'clock. So,
and we had Stampede on the stage. That seemed to be a cool addition to the show as well.
Yeah, KUCZ did a great job with that on putting together an entertainment stage, and that was a real popular addition.
I got to tell you, last week we had Virgil Schwartz, the drummer, in here, and the whole time we're talking to him, you go back and listen to the interview, the whole time I'm talking to him, I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Like, how do I know this guy? Now he's wearing his cowboy hat and all this stuff, and I'm going, know this guy. I'm really good at faces. Names, not so much. Faces, totally don't forget one. Sitting there, I know this guy. I get home, I'm sitting there at home, it's like 8 o'clock at night. Well, my wife and I go, that's the guy who sold us our RV. So he was our RV salesman. It didn't even dawn on me. Yeah. So until after the fact. And he's a heck of a drummer. And then I thought about it. Yeah, he mentioned before that he drums at the Crystal Palace. So they were good. They don't leave the Crystal Palace very often, so it was fun to have them out there. And like I said, the crowd in the evening really started to get into it, and the band was awesome. And like I said, the weather was phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to. So you already start planning for the 46th annual, I'm sure.
Yes, second Thursday of May. It's a staple. So
there you go. There you go. And the Jamaras done us a great job. We had John on the show too, and he really pointed out the passion of this event, how it started, and really what it did then at the Division II days, help them win all those championships, national championships, and now what it's done at the Division I era to help fund more scholarships and be competitive, win 6 championships so far, hopefully more to come, not to count even the individual titles, but really just it has been an event that really seems to help the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, big every year.
Absolutely, yeah. And then behind the scenes, the Accardos, what they do with cooking all over those 2,000 steaks is just incredible. It's just a machine that they have running there that you can't really describe it unless you see it. So,
yeah. No, a very, very good event. So, and then, like we said, baseball tournament coming up next week in Mesa, Arizona. Give me, you've watched WAC baseball all year long. Give me you got any predictions? You got anything that's going to happen?
It's never over to the last out. That's been obvious.
Right.
We saw it 2 years ago. We were down to literally our
Right.
last strike when the wild pitch occurred to send us into the championship game, and then down 4-1 in the 8th inning of the championship game and came back and rallied. We were talking about earlier about the softball tournament just held this past weekend. Seattle had a 3-run lead in the 7th inning against New Mexico State, lost it, went on to lose the tournament. So it's just never over. A good thing on our point is we're 27-0 after 8 innings with a lead. So we'll see what happens, but I like our chances.
Yeah, actually, we were reminiscing with the Seattle radio announcer this past weekend, and we were talking about that, and I kind of went down everything that went wrong for him in that series. Like, here's what your team did wrong, and here's what happened, and what led to us winning it in 2015. And there was 6 guys that played on that team that are back. 5 of them or 4 of them are starters for the Runners, or 5 of them are starters for the Runners. So there's a bunch of guys that have been there before.
And it's a great point with the tournament experience. You can't underestimate that. Similar to our men's basketball team that they went through it last year, you could see this year when they ran into situations and they weren't phased at all by it.
Right.
So we're expecting the same thing from that senior group.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. If folks are bored next week, go to Mesa, Arizona, and you get to go play in the best spring training ballpark of all time, the home of the Oakland Athletics, Hohokam Stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Near and dear to your heart.
Home of my Oakland Athletics, and right across the street, by the way, from Waylon Jennings' grave, which is totally random. People don't know. For a lot of people don't know that Waylon Jennings is buried in Mesa, Arizona, right across the street from Hohokam Stadium. You can literally walk there, find it. His picture's on the headstone. Not hard to miss. It's weird. It's really random that he's that's where he spent the last few years of his life. That's where he passed away. That's where they put him. So you can go visit that too. It's a good tourist trap. All right, Mark. Thanks so much for your help with baseball this year. The barbecue, the special events, and we'll see you in Mesa, Arizona next week.
That sounds good.
All right, we're gonna step away and take a break. When we come back, Arthur Smith going to join us. We're going to talk about the Spirit Squad and Winter Guard auditions coming up for the 2017 and 18 season. They'll be here before you know it. We'll be back. It's Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.
A masterpiece of intelligence awaits you with technologies no car has ever offered. This is the all-new 2017 E-Class from Mercedes-Benz. This new E-Class is clearly the most technologically sophisticated vehicle developed, with innovations that enhance efficiency, safety, and comfort, including the world's first fully integral car-to-X communications, providing information well in advance of imminent danger. This new E-Class carries Mercedes-Benz tradition well into the future, and you can see the all-new 2017 E-Class today at Mercedes-Benz of Bakersfield.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes. We're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win!
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
What a moment!
We are back on Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Mark Mays joining us in the last segment. Brandon Barnes going to join us in the final segment as we'll talk about summer camps coming up for CESUB basketball. But as we get ready to plan for the 2017-18 season, which will be here in like August, a big part of the athletic department now is the Spirit Squad, and Arthur Smith, our Spirit Squad coordinator, joining us here on the program. How are you?
I'm doing good, Corey. How we doing?
Pretty good, man. Now you are preparing for you coming off a really good year. The last couple 3 years, really, for what has evolved into the Spirit program, have been really good. So I think now, as you prepare for the next year, does it get a little tougher of a year to like figure out how to get better and how to be a little, do a little more each year?
I would say yes to that normally, but that's part of the job. You want to get better every year, so you're always thinking about ways to get better. But we have been blessed over the last probably 3 years that each year we've gotten better in one area, and then you push yourself to get better in another area, and you do that, and then it just kind of keeps going. So this year is no different in the terms of we have goals that we want to achieve with all of our programs, and we'll push hard to achieve those.
And it seems like you also probably this year had more eyes on your program because with like the 6 men's basketball sellouts and the atmosphere that was created. I mean, you guys were a big part of that, so it seemed like you got a lot of front and center time this season once again.
They did, and I know that was exciting for all of the team members involved, and that's also what you want people to come here for. You want them to come to be on that big stage. We did have the opportunity to go to New York, and all those kids that went there, I told them it's like being on a stage. That's exactly what it felt like. But we don't have to go somewhere to be on that stage. I say now we can do that every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday in the Ricardo Center. So that's great.
Yeah, and you brought up the fact, in the last 2 years, this team has gone to the NCAA tournament, in Oklahoma 2 years ago, and then this past year going to the NIT in New York. And some of them you actually had a small squad that traveled from Colorado State to Texas to New York. So there was a group that got a really cool experience of postseason basketball.
And don't forget Cal.
Yeah,
we started out in Cal.
And
it was kind of unique, and I've had an opportunity to kind of talk to all of those kids, but 2 of them were freshmen. So if you think about from your high school years to staying here in town to go, to your hometown university, and then next thing you know, you're going to Cal, to Colorado, to Texas, to New York, all for free, basically.
Right.
How exciting is that?
To cheer and do what you kind of signed up to do. And so you have you got 3 graduates this year coming from the program?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. I know every coach says that, but it's just there's a different feeling, a different level of accomplishment that you feel when you see those kids walk across the stage as a coach. And so, we have 3 graduating seniors this year off our dance team. One was actually inducted into our Student Leadership Hall of Fame this year that, we did at the Rowdies. Obviously, you were there for that. And so that was exciting. And, we're doing really good things there.
GPA is solid, about 3.0 for your squads, too.
It is. And we were, I say shout out to the tutoring staff and academic staff over in the Kegley Center. They were able to utilize those services this year. I know that helped them a lot. And so we saw that success in the classroom this year.
And I know a lot of things, too. You guys did a little bit more in terms of community service. Are you getting more and more requests now as the teams get more successful to say, hey, we want the mascot and some cheerleaders out at this event and that event? Are you getting a lot of those requests these days?
We are. And that's great because, again, that's another opportunity for us to give back to our community that has given us so much in a unique way. And so, we get a lot of those. And I think sometimes we get a lot of those because, we kind of are the group that, they can have a little bit more access to.
Sure.
Basketball teams, soccer teams, swimming and diving. When they're in season, they're super busy.
Right.
And so people understand that. Not that we're not busy, but they also know that we, kind of have the opportunity to go to those things where they may not.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of those requests.
So now you're trying to build your team for next year, and we got tryouts coming up. Let's start with the cheer and dance tryouts are going to be the ones coming up here.
Yes.
And we got the details going up here on the screen, but it'll be an opportunity for people to try out. Now, the 18th, right? Friday the 18th. And
the 19th.
The 19th, sorry, I can't see that far from where I'm sitting right now. I don't have my glasses on. 5 to 7 is dance only, and then Friday cheer and mascot only in the 7 to 9 session, all at the old gym. So how do people kind of get involved and that might want to do that?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of different ways. Of course, social media website is kind of the biggest medium that people use these days, and they can go on GoRunners.com, or they can call me directly in my office, which is also online. I believe it's on the flyer that we're showing to the public right now. and they can fill out an information sheet, and I can email them back with more information. But actually, when I leave from here, and something I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, I'll be going out to all of our high schools and putting flyers in the hands of the people that have direct access to our high school kids or our college kids over at BC. That way they, for sure get that information. Yeah. They know they can put a face to the programs, this beautiful face here, I guess, and know who to call.
You and me both, buddy.
Know who to call. So,
and so talk about really what you're looking for. I mean, from the dance aspect, like what is that team, I guess, how do they differ from the cheer team? What are you kind of looking for in someone who wants to go out for, the dance team?
Yeah, and great question. And, I know we'll talk about our third team here in a moment, our winter guard team, but for all of our groups, they specialize in the skills that, they do. And so the drastic difference between dance and cheer is worlds apart. Our dance team is definitely a performance group. They're there for the entertainment value of different performances and the things that they do on the sideline. And so we are looking for those young ladies or gentlemen that possess those attributes of wanting to perform and dance and really have a good time there. So we look for those people. And then for cheer, we're looking for those individuals that can tumble, those people that, can do the stunts and obviously lead a crowd in a chant and a cheer. So different skill sets, but ultimately you're looking for someone who wants to be on that stage, wants to be in front of those people and, have a good time.
So then like the cheer staff is more of the, the obviously traditional cheerleaders, but I know the stunt stuff has stepped up in the last couple of years, and you guys are a heck of a lot more active, on game days and stuff.
They are, and that's a testament to their hard work. I mean, they put in the hours in practice. They put in the hours outside of practice to be able to do those skills that people see. I tell the group all the time, the crowd sees the finished product of what you've been working so hard on, and so they've been doing that, and I think that that's just a great sentiment to hear from you or from other fans that, hey, we see the increased skill level because I get to see it firsthand how much work they've been doing.
And then the other part of your tryouts is mascot. You're looking for somebody to go into that suit and make something happen, basically. I mean, what are you looking for in, the next person or persons that are going to put on the rowdy suit and try to make it happen?
Well, you said it best at the end of that sentence. It's persons, because one person, a couple of years ago, we were kind of able to get away with that, having one individual do it. Now that would almost be an unrealistic goal because he or she is so important to the community, and people want Rowdy out at a lot of different events. He'll be there at graduation this weekend. So what we're looking for is someone
You're fitting to die in that suit at graduation. I'm just letting you know now.
He might. It's possible. But it's going to be hot.
It's going to be warm.
But we're looking again for someone who wants to be entertaining, that wants to be able to lead a crowd, but they almost have to do it in a way that is a little bit higher than maybe our other groups because you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And you have the same uniform look the whole time, and so we are looking for someone not only to do games, but then looking for someone who maybe wants to just do community events and wants to do all of the grand openings and the children's hospital visits and the Girl Scouts and those different things because to do both sometimes can be overwhelming, and so we have the ability to have people do specialized events, and so we'll be looking for that also.
And I think there's definitely, like you pointed out, you go to a basketball game, that's more of a performance. You're on the court, you're doing, you're being goofy, whatever, that kind of stuff. But then, like I watched on Saturday, I think it was, maybe it was Sunday, but Rowdy's out at the baseball game, and it's totally different because Sunday at a baseball game, especially, he's not on the field, he's not doing a bunch, he's not the Philly fanatic driving a four-wheeler around, but what he's out there doing is kids are running up to him, he's taking a lot of pictures, he's bugging people in the stands. I mean, that kind of stuff. It's just kind of totally different. Some events are all about what's happening in front of people. The other times it's like really among the people.
Exactly. And I think that's two different skill sets too. Some people love that. They love the smaller, more intimate interactions with kids. As you mentioned, we had him out at the baseball game. I think he was handing out flowers to the mothers on Mother's Day and those sort of items. And that is kind of a little bit more relaxed, just kind of walking around, move around a little bit more. Whereas your basketball games or your other sporting events, it is high energy. It's dancing, it's jumping up and down, it's reacting to calls and those different things. And so we look for people that have a balance of both.
Yeah, it would be cool if we get him a 4-wheeler at baseball.
I think it would be pretty cool. We should have brought it up with Mark last time.
I know. The Friar in San Diego, I remember it's always him when I would go to games in college. He still does today, I think, at Petco Park. Dude's got a 4-wheeler that he's just going around the outfield before the game.
Yeah, we may need to
better than a mascot on a motor vehicle.
We may need to have a little bit stricter guidelines on that if we were to implement that. But that would be pretty fun.
Why not? We'll figure it out. And then the other squad is the Winter Guard, which is semi-new, correct? Is something we just kind of added a few years ago?
Yeah, going into their third year. Their coach, Maureen Fillmore, has done a great job with that group. When we first brought the team on, because it's been a team in the making. I mean, Winter Guard here in our community is very big at the high school level. Actually, one of our high schools just won kind of the national, the world championship for, I believe, it was Stockdale. And so it's a big thing in our community, and it's something that we hadn't had on campus. And so to continue to foster that relationship, we wanted to bring it on campus. Yeah. Maureen took the lead on that. She, like I said, she's done a great job with them, coaching them. She tried to teach me a couple things. Didn't really work out. So, I know we used to do you'd come out to different practices. If you wanted to do that again and come out to that practice, it could be interesting.
I'm pretty dominant with a fake rifle. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
I mean, she tried to teach you some stuff, but I don't know how it would go.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty dominant.
No, it's like I said, it's a pretty new team on campus. They typically do the majority of their performances in the fall, which is awesome for us because we don't always have a lot of things at soccer or those different kind of events. And so they give us an opportunity to entertain our crowd in a different way.
Right.
And so they'll do that. They're actually defending PAC champions here locally.
Oh, cool.
They've done that competition a few years back, and they won that. And so we're looking at bringing that team back again and continuing to, push towards the goals that they have, membership numbers and competition and skill set this weekend also.
You brought up the local angle. I mean, how many of your teams, maybe across even all three teams, are you getting, are local? Or is it a pretty much predominantly local group?
It is now, I would say. When I first got here back in 2013, I wouldn't say it was as local as, you would like to see it. A lot of L.A. kids, a lot of Fresno kids, Delano, Wasco, and of course, we love all of those cities or those towns, but we want Bakersfield kids, and so now we're seeing that, and I think that has a lot to do with our overall athletic department and the success that we've had. There's a sense of pride there, and now when you're from Bakersfield, you don't want to leave and go to a Fresno or go to Sac State. You want to come here and you want to perform in front of your family and your friends, and for great athletics, and that's what we've seen. Probably the last 2 years have been the biggest years of our in-town recruitment.
Well, we've got such strong traditions with, the cheer and spirit squads locally, band as well. I'm seeing that from our pet band too. A lot of
most definitely.
Great local pet bands, and we're seeing a lot of those kids come. Anytime we can snake one of those, frontier kids on that great band they have over there to come play for us, it's great. And the same with the cheerleaders and spirit squads as well. So again, the tryouts, GoRunners.com. You can click on the details for the cheer tryouts, and all the information is up there, and they'll be coming up in the next week or so, right? Next week?
Yeah.
Or this weekend?
Well, this week actually. We start on Friday. I know we had said dance starts at 5. Winter Guard actually starts before that. They start at 3.
Yeah.
Everything's in the old gym.
Okay.
But it'll run from Friday all the way until Sunday, actually, when we'll make our selections.
Nice.
And then we'll unveil, I guess, the new teams and get ready for the new season.
Get ready for the season. It'll start in August. All right, Arthur, appreciate you joining us. Congrats on a big year for you and your teams, and we'll see you soon.
I appreciate it, Corey. Thanks a lot. Go Runners.
All right, we're going to step away and take a break. Brandon Barnes is going to join us next. We'll talk about basketball camps for kids over the summer because daycare is expensive. We'll be back. It's Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.
What shall I do to put myself by your side? What shall I do to put myself along by your side?
For more than 75 years, Current Schools has been helping local people achieve local dreams. We have watched piggy banks emptied to reward a job well done, supported our teams, and tried our best to make life a little easier. We have been there when friends become parents, buy their family's first car, and build a home with a life to match, just like it was dreamed to be. Beyond dollars and cents is our pride of Kern County and the people who make it such a great place to call home. Together, let's turn more local dreams into realities so we can make life as it should be. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
We strive to achieve excellence through determination and hard work.
We are committed to learning from those around us,
Our professors and peers.
our coaches and teammates,
And our opponents.
We compete with integrity and passion.
And we seize our moment when the opportunity arises.
We take pride in our communities.
And believe that we can inspire others.
just as they can inspire us.
We may wear different colors, but we share the same purpose.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are
The Western Athletic Conference.
A Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes, we're developing tomorrow's leaders. From lessons learned during competition, for more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win!
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
What a moment!
Welcome back, Roadrunner Rundown, final segment of season number 4. Thanks so much for joining us. By the way, you get the show anytime online at gorunners.com. If you missed any episode and just have to see it, it's online at gorunners.com/rundown. You can find it all there. And we will be getting ready for season number 5 here, starting in a few months. But I want to welcome to the program now. He has the honor of being the final guest of season number 4. Brandon Barnes, our director of basketball operations on the men's basketball side. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk. You have the summer coming up, which a lot of folks think, oh, yeah, summertime. You're not playing basketball. Everything's open. But no, you guys have camps, and the camps have become wildly popular. So let's talk about the boys basketball camps coming up for you guys this summer. The first is in June, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you get an opportunity to learn from, the best, I would say. He's a Naismith Coach of the Year. He was just the mid-major Coach of the Year. We have former players and, present players that'll be on staff as well. I'll be kind of operating the whole entire deal. And then, Coach Pollock, who ran it for the last 2 years as well, will be helping out a lot too. So, you get a lot of quality hands-on training and skill work throughout our camp. So
it's been impressive to watch this camp grow, because I remember the first year, and you were probably a camp counselor that year in 2011 or the summer of 2011. It was a handful of kids, right? And you were helping, and Coach Conroe was helping, and it was just a little bit. And now we've got 2 segments: the June 19th to 20th, July 17th to the 20th, and you're already almost sold out. And last year was crazy, and now you're almost sold out on at least your June portion of the camp.
Yeah, you gotta give your hats off to Coach, Con and Coach Barnes and how they built it from then. My job's a little bit easier now because they made really great camps from the start, and I just kind of have to get people to come. So just it's a testament to their hard work that we're almost sold out of the first one.
What are some of the things that the kids can really get if parents are thinking, all right, I might want to send my kid there for a few days? What are some of the skills and some of the things that you guys like to do? It seems like really it's one of the more fun camps. I pop in all the time. There's always something going on. There's a game. There's a competition. There's team competition. That kind of stuff going on.
Well, in the morning, we'll stretch them. We'll go through stations, which we like to break down in skill work. Defense would be a big thing for us because we preach defense in our program, and that'll be a big emphasis this summer. Guys will They will, work on their skill work. We'll play some up and down. We'll do a lot of games to keep people engaged. Hopefully, I think my goal is to try to get some of the alumni to come back and speak to the kids and kind of, bring back memories of their time playing here. So, they need to be on the lookout for my call.
Yeah, exactly. Don't ignore the number. And then what I like about it too is, I know you kind of put players in charge of these teams and things like that, which is the best part to watch, is watching our players coach against each other with a bunch of kids that are kind of caught in the middle. And it seems like the kids love the coaches. The coaches are the coaches or our student athletes like to be coaches for a week. I mean, it seems like that is a big popular draw.
Of course. I mean, as athletes, you're extremely competitive. I think, a lot of the guys that are playing right now, they're probably going to be coaches one day. I'm one,
Right.
I'm on the way to try to be that myself. And, it just get really competitive. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose on the floor. You don't want to, lose to your teammate because he's going to talk about it in the locker room, or he's going to be like, man, my team won the championship. So, I mean, it's just really competitive, and it makes it a lot of fun, as long as it doesn't get out of hand. But it has never gotten out of hand. It's been really, really fun. So.
And you'll take kids as young as what, like 6?
6, yeah.
Wow. So 6 to 18, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so how do you and you seems like you guys always set up a separate for the littler kids, the smaller kids that got smaller baskets, got another area they can work on, so they're not going up against 12-year-olds.
Correct. Yeah. We set them up on age group first. And then we'll evaluate them on the first day. If they're better than their age group, we try to move them up. If they're if they're at their age group, we'll keep them the same. We just want to make the experience fun for everyone. Is the quality camp. I think that's why we've built it to where it's we have 2 camps now, and people are coming because of the quality and the fun that the kids are having. So we want to replicate that again this year.
And it seems like you now, with this being the 6th year of the camp under Coach Barnes, and it seems like now you've got repetitive kids, but I think you're even getting a few of those repetitive kids that are now thinking about coming here because they're getting to that age. They're getting close to that age, or they are the age where they're committing and they want to be here. And so it's kind of working out as a recruiting tool, as you would hope, I guess.
Of course, yeah. We want to teach them from when they're really, really young to the game of basketball, and hopefully they could become prospective athletes for us to recruit. They get better through our camp. They see our staff. They get comfortable with us. They're from here most of the time, and then you get an opportunity to stay home, and maybe we can keep some local kids here in the future.
And again, the camp's coming up late June. Put that on the screen one more time and get the website too. runnersbasketballcamp.com. You can register there June 19th through the 22nd. That one's almost sold out, so hurry up. July 17th through the 20th as well. And $200 per camper. And there's all kinds of stuff. Lunch daily, all that great stuff. And cool memories too. People, like I said, they come back year after year. And it runs 8:30 to 3:30 as well. And runnersbasketballcamp.com. Folks can register there online, and Brandon is in charge of that this year. And you just got done with your first year as director of ops. How'd it go for you?
Oh, it was great. I learned a lot. I really believe that I work for one of the best coaches in the country. And besides him being my dad, I honestly believe that. I think the way that we do things in our program, it's a testament to him. He's always done it the right way since I've been alive, and just to kind of get behind the scenes and see how hard our guys work. Coach Benji is excellent on the floor. He's excellent to be around. He's really funny, and our staff is just great, man. And Coach Pollock and I bring a lot of energy, being youthful, and Coach Khan is really, really intense, and he's grown since I've been here, as a coach and then just as a person as well. I really look up to him. I look up to my dad, and our staff is really, really, really great. So I enjoyed my first year, and like I said, I learned a lot. We had a lot of success. It's great to come back, after playing and trying to build it and then see what has happened here. The future is really bright here at our program.
And you played here in 12. You were here in 11, but you redshirted. But you played in 12, 13, 13, 14. And then you came back after a couple years coaching yourself. You came back to coach here. What was it like for you, especially this year, to see the reaction from last year's NCAA tournament bid, but then the crowds at home this year, the atmosphere? Because I'll be honest, when you played, it was kind of sterile sometimes. There wasn't that much going on in the gym. Now, fast forward, you're a coach and you're selling out most of the time.
Correct. It was great to see. I think the city deserved to have someone that came in and win, to win every year in and year out. And those guys, that were graduating, they won over, about 49 games. And, that's just great to them, to their character. And they came in and they worked really, really hard to accomplish a lot of things for our city and our program. And that's what that was the vision that my dad had when he first came here. And, I kind of jumped on board when I transferred to come here as well. And I kind of figured that I probably wasn't going to reap any of the benefit from it as a player, but to see that the city, has gotten, a champion again, that just is awesome to see.
Yeah, and again, runnersbasketballcamp.com is the website, and the camps are getting going here in late June and late July as well, and all the details are online. Brandon, thanks for joining us, and good luck with camps. And I know you're getting ready for next year already, so good luck with that summer and getting all the guys squared away for the upcoming season.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to be it, folks, for the season. Season 4 is over. Thanks so much for joining us on this year. And again, anytime online, GoRunners.com/rundown. If like during the summer you're like missing Roadrunner Rundown, it's all there. Just go online, check it out, and you can see past episodes of the program. Follow us anytime on Facebook, Facebook.com/CESUB Roadrunners, on Twitter and Instagram at CESUB Athletics. Thanks so much for a great season 4. We'll see you for number 5. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.